Hi, I'm Andy and I'm excited to be in Spain to talk about the art of being brilliant. So for the last 12 years I've been studying a PhD at a university in England looking at the science of positive psychology, which is basically the science of happiness and the science of feeling good and the science of well-being. So what I'm going to do this evening is to share the top tips of how to feel fantastic, because basically when you feel great, what we already know, when you feel great you perform at your best. And if you feel great, it's not just good for you, it is good for the people around you. So your emotions are contagious. So what we're trying to do today is create happiness in 500 people, and they then go and infect everybody else. So that is the aim of the art of being brilliant.
Buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos a la conferencia de hoy, Cómo llegar a ser brillante. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos a todos los que están aquí en el patio de la Infanta. Bienvenidos y bienvenidos también a todas las personas que nos estáis siguiendo esta tarde vía streaming en nuestros centros de Huesca, Teruel, Guadalajara y Logroño. Hoy y mañana está con nosotros Andy Cope. Thank you very much, Andy. Nada menos, viene Andy desde Gran Bretaña y impartirá hoy la conferencia Cómo llegar a ser brillante y mañana la masterclass El arte de ser un profesor brillante. En el diseño del programa de Educar para el Futuro, el éxito de su puesta en marcha es el resultado de la suma de muchos esfuerzos, pero uno de ellos, muy importante, es el de todos nuestros colaboradores que están construyendo con nosotros este proyecto. Gracias a cada uno de ellos es posible este proyecto tan ambicioso de apoyo a la innovación educativa que impulsamos desde la Fundación Ibercaja. Desde aquí, hoy quiero volver a agradecer a todos nuestros colaboradores lo que ya comenté el primer día de la presentación de la sexta edición. Agradecer su profesionalidad, su disponibilidad. Todos ellos nos enriquecen con su apoyo, aportaciones y nos dan credibilidad y rigor al programa. Hoy quiero agradecer especialmente a MT. Muchísimas gracias a Nacho, muchas gracias a Sofía, que son los jefes máximos, ¿no? de MT, y a todo el equipo de MT que están hoy aquí, la oportunidad de haber conseguido que Andy Cope nos acompañe en Educar para el Futuro 2017. Muchísimas gracias, de verdad. Bueno, como recordarán, en nuestra sexta edición teníamos como lema Innovar para transformar. Y para conseguir que esa transformación sea verdadera y sea duradera, se necesita un nuevo liderazgo. Y de eso viene a hablarnos hoy Andy Cope, esta tarde. Él es un verdadero inspirador de este nuevo liderazgo. Andy es un maestro cualificado, adicto al aprendizaje, estudia actualmente la felicidad y la positividad como parte de su tesis doctoral. Imparte su taller El arte de ser brillante por todo el mundo. Los talleres de Andy fueron diseñados originalmente para el público corporativo, teniendo la suerte de trabajar para empresas tan grandes como Microsoft, DHL, Pirelli, Santander, Toyota, IKEA, etc. Sin embargo, pronto se hizo evidente que los mensajes simples y estimulantes eran igualmente aplicables a los niños, a los maestros, a los padres, por lo que Andy ha desarrollado una filosofía que se llama Escuelas Brillantes, que está creciendo rápidamente. Ha trabajado con más de 200 escuelas británicas para incorporar la felicidad, la positividad, el bienestar, la resiliencia en el plan de estudios. Andy ha entrenado a profesores para entregar el arte de ser brillante y en un acercamiento revolucionario. Sus mensajes están siendo transmitidos ahora por los niños y para los niños. Andy ha escrito El arte de ser brillante, Be Brilliant Every Day, así como El arte de ser un adolescente brillante. También ha sido coautor de una nueva serie para profesores, entre ellos El arte de ser un maestro brillante y convertirse en un brillante maestro de primaria. Su primera novela ganó el libro británico de los niños del año y la serie ha vendido más de 1 millón de copias en todo el mundo. Ha escrito también la exitosa serie Spy Dog. Andy ha hecho numerosas apariciones en televisión y radio y también ha creado la primera y única sociedad del Reino Unido para gente feliz. Bien, después de esta presentación breve de Andy Cope, creo que esta conferencia es una oportunidad extraordinaria para aprender el arte de brillar. Estoy convencida de que todos los que estamos aquí tenemos luz y somos capaces no solo de brillar con luz propia, sino también de dar luz a nuestro alrededor. Y en un mundo rodeado de tinieblas, donde a veces solo parece, pero lo parece a veces, ¿no?, que la felicidad solo sea un sueño, es muy necesario ejercitarnos cada uno en ser capaces de sacar todo lo positivo que llevamos dentro, que es infinito. Tenemos que procurar no solo impedir que nos roben ser felices, sino aprender día a día a serlo más y más. Estoy segura de que esta tarde Andy Cope nos dará pautas que nos ayudarán sin duda a ser más brillantes y más felices. Muchas gracias a todos.
Thank you very much. Gracias. Good evening, everybody. Headphones on. Okay, the voice in your ears will be Bibi. Hi, Bibi. She's translating this evening. I'm delighted and excited and honoured to be invited to come to Spain to talk to you this evening. Unfortunately, my Spanish isn't very good, so the talk is going to be in English, but Bibi will sort that out for me. I've put a picture up of how excited I was to be invited here today, actually. That was me this morning, setting off from London, thinking, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, going to speak to an international audience. And my background is, as just been explained, I've got a very strange life. So I have two lives. So I write children's books. So in England and in fact all over the world, there's a series called Spy Dog. So that's aimed at children between the ages of 7 and 11. But what I really do and what I want to share with you this evening is for the last 12 years, I've been doing a research project, a PhD, at Loughborough University in England, and I've been studying a subject called positive psychology, which is basically the science of happiness and the science of well-being and the science of feeling good. So my job for 12 years as a researcher has been to seek out happy people and follow them around and trying to work out why they're so happy. So what I thought I'd do this evening is to share with you the best bits of what I've learned over the last 12 years so that we can all leave here a little bit happier. Okay, so that's the deal. I'm obviously a little bit nervous because I'm English and we're translating, so if you can be with me. I've got some prizes today, by the way. I've got some prizes. I've got some books to give away. They are in English, but I've got a Spy Cat book. Spy Cat. We've got some books for teenagers, improve their English and improve their happiness at the same time. Woo, excuse me. And also, the best prize of all is a T-shirt. So, I have got, ladies and gentlemen, control your excitement, a prize this evening. The best person in the room gets to win the happy T-shirt, okay? So what I need you on board. I need you to look engaged. I know you've been at work all day, haven't you? You're exhausted. I know that. I get that. Yeah, I understand that you've done a job and now you're coming to listen to me. But if you give me an open mind and a sense of humour, then we'll have a really good evening and somebody will win the happy T-shirt, okay? So quite often I work with schools. So I work with children. I was in a school about 6 months ago, and I had 400 children in the audience, and they were aged from 8 to 10. And I started the morning with a statistic. I said to these kids, there's 400 children in the room. I said, okay, kids, I've got a statistic for you. I said, the average lifespan in this room is 4,000 weeks. And all these little kids were like, yay, fantastic, that's brilliant, yay, that's like forever, fantastic, thank you, Andy. So I thought I'd start this evening with the same. The average lifespan in this room is 4,000 weeks. Yeah, exactly. There's less joy in the adults and there's more, really? That's not a very big number. I'm 50, I've used a few. And I guess ultimately where I'm coming from is your 4,000 weeks. That's what I want. I want you to know some stuff that will enable you to make a dent in the universe. If life is a very short and precious gift, then what we've got to do is really go for it. So what I want to do is kind of wake you up. Another movie reference, actually. I don't know if you've seen the movie Sixth Sense. It's got Bruce Willis. It's quite a scary film, psychological film, and there's a very spooky line in that film where a little boy says to Bruce Willis, he says, "I see dead people." And I think, do you know what? I see them as well. Sometimes on a Monday morning, coming into work, there's a pulse, but there's not much. It's like zombies are coming in. Yeah, because Mondays aren't very good. And what I want to do, I just want to wake everybody up. And I say, come on, guys, what are we waiting for? In terms of happiness, let's go for it. So the other thing that I did in this school with the children, with these 9-year-olds, was a little brain test. So that says, find the horse. So on the next slide, don't shout out, just put your hand up when you found the horse. So ladies and gentlemen, hand up when you found the horse. Quickly, quickly. I've only got 1 hour. The horse, we're good. Yeah. Okay. I'll give some people can't find the horse, so let me give you the horse. Here's the horse, okay? So there's the horse. Yeah? Maybe? If you still can't see the horse, that's more of a problem. You've had a long day. If I go back one slide, then the horse is already there, but you don't see the horse until you sit there like that. When you sit like that, the horse will become clear. Yes, girls, well, quick. The point about the horse is a little bit like happiness. What I want to do tonight is give you a slightly different way of thinking, to upgrade the way that we think, because your happiness isn't real. Okay, so happiness isn't a thing. Happiness hasn't got a shape and a mass and a form. Happiness is an emotion, and there's only one place your happiness can ever come from, and that is your thinking. So what if there was a really cool way that we could change our thinking that would make us feel good? And if when we felt good, that transmitted to the people around us, that would be a good use of your time this evening, I promise you. Okay, but what I'm going to do this evening is change your thinking, is give you a better way of thinking, a bit like the horse and the frog. Now, what happens as a human being, we are social animals. So we want to be part of a family, a tribe, a community, a team. And all the time, in fact, we are social animals, we have to fit in. So it's like having a social Wi-Fi that connects with other people. And if you can't connect, you get lonely and isolated and depressed quite quickly. So human beings need other human beings for their mental health. And what happens from a very early age is you develop a way of thinking that fits in with society. And that will get you the same results as everybody else. Okay, so in primary school, when you're a little small child, what happens, you don't know it's happening, it just happens, is you develop a way of thinking that fits in with the people around you, and that gets you the same results as all the other children. And then you go to the big school. So I went to big school, and I wanted to fit in. So I developed a way of thinking that fitted in with the teenage boys, and they left me alone, and that was okay. That fitted in, and that got me the same result as the teenage boys. Now, that whole cycle is how you operate as a human being, and that's okay on one condition. But the condition is that you want to be like everybody else. You want the same results. But at the results end, ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted your family, your work colleagues, and your customers to be going, wow, you're amazing, you are world class. If you want world class results, then I would say, a bit like the horse and the frog, we go back to the thinking. If we can change the thinking a little bit, we get world class at that end. So what I'm going to do this evening is the thinking. We're going to change the thinking. I'm going to share my entire 12 years of PhD thesis on one slide in a minute. All right, and you will then see why I'm so excited to be invited here. But we're going to change the thinking, well, at least if we can. So let me show you how the thinking really works. Whether this needs translating, Bibby, I don't know. It's a video, so can we just dim the lights? And it's only 30 seconds. This pretty much is what my talk is about.
Training fleas requires a glass jar with a lid. The fleas are placed inside the jar, and the lid is then sealed. They are left undisturbed for 3 days. Then, when the jar is opened, the fleas will not jump out. In fact, the fleas will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behaviour is now set for the rest of their lives. And when these fleas reproduce, their offspring will automatically follow their example.
I hope you're clever enough to understand that isn't about fleas, okay? It's about the people in this room, it's about me, it's about the children we educate, it's about our communities. And of course, the message psychologically is very simple. From a very early age, we look at the people around us and we copy, they've got a way of thinking and we copy how they think. And our thinking then informs our behavior. And once you've got something in your head, it's very difficult to get it out again. Now, I'm hoping that in your communities and in your classrooms and in your schools and in your businesses, we're trying to remove the barriers. We're trying to say, what are the barriers? Why does everybody think in the same way? And if there were no barriers, we were jumping higher, further, then that's really what we're talking about in terms of positive psychology, which is my subject. So let's remove some barriers. Let me get rid of a barrier straight away to your thinking. And the thinking is this. I don't know, maybe it's an English thing, but I think it's probably Spanish as well. Unless you're incredibly enlightened, you have fallen for a flea in a jar way of thinking that says Mondays are bad and Fridays are good. Okay, and most of the world will think that Mondays are bad and Fridays are good. So let's challenge that. If we were going to smash that particular glass jar and change our thinking, and you've got 4,000 weeks to make a dent in the universe, a seventh of your entire life is spent on Mondays. And that seems to be a day where most people don't like. So what if Mondays and Fridays are equal, they're both worth a seventh, and Mondays only become bad when you apply thinking to them? So what if we changed the thinking on Mondays? And what if Monday became your new Friday? Well, I'll tell you what would happen because I've done it for you, okay? I was at work, it was horrible weather, it was dark, it was 7:45 on a Monday, and I sat in my car and I watched people coming into work on a Monday. And they were coming in like this, they weren't feeling very good. And I watched 50 people coming into work exactly like the same, like zombie movies, they were coming into work. Because they've learned, like I've learned, that 7:30 on a Monday at work in horrible weather is not a good place to be. And I watched 50 people do the same, and I thought, do you know what, I do that as well. But the question is, and I'm going to come back to this question at the end, the question that changed my life is this. How would the best version of me go into work on Monday? Okay? How would the best version of me go into work on Monday? Because it's not about anybody else, it's not about the weather, it's not about work, it's about me. Straight away, this is me. And I knew the answer straight away. The answer was not like everybody else, not like a zombie. The best version of me would go into work like that boy of the video. So I thought, what's stopping me doing that? Nothing except my thinking. I've learned that Mondays at 7:30 aren't good. So I'm going to change my thinking. I'm going to go in to work like the best version of me. So I can remember locking my car in the car park, and I wandered across the car park with a little bit, a bit different. And I bounded into the office full of energy, and I said, woohoo! I said, don't those weekends drag? Isn't it fantastic to be back at work, everybody? And of course that didn't work. Everybody just thought I was weird. So I thought jazz hands on a Monday is not good. So I thought, well, Tuesday, I'll put my hands in my pockets, but I'm still going to go in really positive, really enthusiastic, like the best version of me. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the same. And within 1 week, the office was absolutely transformed. Everybody in the office was inspired, work productivity was skyrocketed, and it was a great place to be within 1 week. Now, I wasn't a leader in education. I was the guy doing the photocopying in the office. So I wasn't an important person in the hierarchy, but within 1 week, there was a massive difference. Okay? So I decided, and why I'm telling you that, is that for me was a realization that I, exactly like you, can sit in my life and I can wait, and I can wait, and I can wait for everybody else to be inspired, and then I can join in. And I will probably die waiting. Or I, exactly like you, can flick a switch in my head and I can decide to go for it. I can decide to be the best version of me. And if I decided that, maybe other people might join in with me. That would be their choice, but at least I would be having a brilliant 4,000 weeks. And that for me was the time it all changed. I decided to come alive. I decided to wake up for my 4,000 weeks. And that was the start of my research. I decided to study people who had already made, or who had also made similar choices. Okay, so that was the starting point for me. And can I just give you one more? If we're going to smash some glass jars and rethink how we think, then can I just do this one with you again? I hope this translates. Bibby, work hard on this one, please. Unless you're incredibly enlightened, you've been lied to about happiness. And happiness has been sold to you as a lovely feeling, so we've all got capacity for more happiness in our life, but it's a bit like a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. So happiness is lovely. I want more of it, but it's over there. I need to earn it. I need to pursue it. I need to make it mine. And of course, the lie starts when we're little, because what we tell our children when they're in primary school, if you work really hard in primary school, you'll get really good results. And when you get those great results, guess what, children? Then you'll be happy. And then you'll graduate to big school, to high school. And if you work really hard in high school, you'll get really good grades there, and you'll get A's and A stars and B's. And when you get those really good grades, guess what, kids? Then you'll be happy. And then because you get great grades, you'll get a job. And you'll have a sales target or a production target. And when you hit your target, guess what? Then you'll be happy. Or you'll be happy when you're walking down the aisle of the church getting married, when you find your perfect partner. All the time, ladies and gentlemen, most people go their entire 4,000 weeks without ever having this thought, is we are led this belief that happiness is lovely, it's over there, I need to earn it and pursue it. So let's rethink that. What if happiness is a fantastic feeling, and what if we've all got room for more of it in our lives, but what if happiness isn't at the far end of the rainbow? Okay, what if happiness is actually at this end, it's already here, but we're just not seeing it? In fact, to push you a little further, what if happiness is the starting point and not the ending point? So if we go back through those examples, what if it's the happiest primary school children that get the best results? So what if being happy now was crucial in their learning and their growth mindsets and their creativity? What if it's the happiest teenagers that get the A's and the B's? What if it's the happiest salesperson that gets the most sales? Or what if being happy now is the key to finding your perfect partner and walking down the aisle? So the big glass jar shattering question is, what if we've been looking in the wrong place? So once again, what I would like to do this evening is bring it back here to what we can do in our heads to learn new strategies that will allow us to feel fantastic now. And if we can do that, the benefit is for ourselves, our families, our work colleagues, and our customers, because we are infectious. Okay? So that is, if I can just get you half as excited about what we're going to do as I am, then I think we're on to a winner. So let me share with you, I think I'm going to share with you a really sad statistic. And I don't know what it's like in Spain, but in England, last year, there were 57 million prescriptions written for people who are not happy. So for depression. And I don't know what the Spanish statistics are like, but it's getting pretty bad in England, and in the school system it's bad with the teachers, and even the children now, the teenagers are getting depressed. And it seems a crazy way of going about things is we wait for people to be ill and then we give them medication, whereas our thing in schools is if we can give them strategies in their head to feel great, then they won't get depressed in the first place. It seems a more sensible strategy to try and give children some techniques and tools and philosophy that will enable them to shine. So that's what we're doing in England. Now, what I thought I'd do, I don't just want to talk at you for 90 minutes. I would like you to engage with me in a short activity. So have a quick discussion. I'm going to put some questions on the next screen that Bibi's going to translate for you. And then I'm going to give you 3 minutes to think about the questions and have a little discussion with the people next to you, and then we shout some answers out, which Bibi will translate. Unless you want to shout out in English, that would be cool, but I appreciate that's probably not going to happen. And we're looking for some good answers to win a t-shirt, all right? So I'm going to put 4 questions on the next screen, and I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to think about these questions. So question number 1 in English that Bibi will translate is, what brings you happiness at work? Okay, now don't say going home, okay? I'm hoping there is something in your job that makes you put a smile on your face. If you're a teacher, maybe it's a relationship with the children. Maybe it's a learning moment. If you're working at the bank, maybe it's a customer saying, thank you, job well done, I really appreciate you. I don't know what it is, but what is it for you that brings you happiness at work? Question 2, what impact do you want to have on your customers? Now, I've put customers in inverted commas because I want you to think about who in your job are you there to serve? Okay, and once you've talked about who your customers are, then what impact would you like to have on those people? That hopefully is an easy question, but let's see where the discussion takes us. Question number 3. Give me an example of where you found yourself with a bad attitude. So there'll be a time in the last 7 days when a tiny little incident happened and you felt like you wanted to murder somebody. That will have happened to you. So road rage, or an argument with a teenage daughter, or in fact what I'm looking for is the smaller the incident and the angrier you got, the better. Because we're going to cure you of these this evening, okay? So what I'm looking for is, I don't want big things, I want little things that make you more angry than you should be. Okay. In fact, can I give you an example? Hopefully it will translate. I did a conference for head teachers in England, about 150 head teachers, and I used question 3, and I said to the audience, give me an example of when you found yourself with a bad attitude. And this lady said, I've been married for 25 years, and every single morning my husband asks me, how did you sleep? 25 years, same question. She says, I've got to the point whereby I say, I can't remember how I slept because I was asleep. I want to kill him. And she says that annoys her so much. It's not a big deal, but it's a tiny little thing, but it annoys her so much that she can't speak to him at breakfast time. She's so angry that she doesn't speak to him. So for 25 years, they've had breakfast in silence because he's asked that same question. All right, now she loves him and he loves her. It's not lack of love, but it's a tiny little detail that sticks with her for an hour and makes her really angry. So they're the kind of things that I want you to share with me in question 3. And then question 4, if you could be a superhero at work, who would you be? All right, so I want you just to enter into what I'm trying to do, is get you to think about things in a slightly different way. You have 3 minutes to talk about 4 questions. You shout out some answers. I will then launch into my entire 12 years of research on one PowerPoint, and I think then you will see why I'm so excited to be here. Guys and girls, you've got 3 minutes to talk about 4 questions. Enjoy. Enjoy. Okay, team, finish the conversation you're having, and I want you to share some of these with me. I know I've not given you much time, but I'm really excited to get through to the theory bit. However, before we do the answers to the questions, can I just show you one more very short video? And once again, I'm not sure it needs a translation. I just want you to see. I'm very lucky now on social media. I just do happy tweets and happy Facebook. So people share things with me. And somebody shared this video with me at Christmas time. It says, start your day the Jessica way. Can I just show you? She's only on for 45 seconds. It's on YouTube. It's had about 1 million hits. But I think it's such a cool video. And I think it's universal language. Enjoy the Jessica video, please.
Be a shark. Now my whole house is great. I can do anything good. I like my school. I like anything. I like my dad. I like my cousins. I like my aunts. I like my Allisons. I like my mom. I like my sisters. I like my dad. I like my hair. I like my haircuts. I like my pajamas. I like my stuff. I like my rooms. I like my whole house. My whole house is great. I can do anything good. Yeah. I can do anything
anyone. How cool is that? She can do anything better than anyone. When was the last time you got that excited? Yeah? And I think it's that the happiness thing is not a new phenomenon. It's about remembering how excited we used to be. My daughter, who's 20 now, when my daughter was little and she started school at age 5, she was doing, her first day at school was on a Friday. She had to go in for one day on the Friday. So on Monday, we went to the shops and we bought the school uniform. And she got dressed in that uniform on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, and on Thursday. She was so excited to go to school on Friday. She got a uniform every single day. And I love the excitement in there. Now, what that does is also take me somewhere psychologically. Because Jessica, I know that we've got different pressures. She hasn't got much pressure in her young life. But everybody in this room is struggling with what we call busyness. So we're so busy that we haven't got enough hours in the day to achieve what we want to achieve. So here, can you work a bit harder than you worked last year? Can we restructure your workplace? Can we take some money out of your budget and ask you to deal with more customers with less money? And the world is crazy. So everybody has a to-do list every day that is, you're never going to get to the bottom of it. So we've got too many things to do and not enough time to do them. And that is the modern world, okay? My talk isn't about that. I'm sympathetic to that, but my talk isn't about that. My talk is over here, and it's what Jessica's doing, and it's what I call your to-be list. And your to-be list is quite courageous because it requires you to point the finger back at yourself and ask yourself, who am I being while I'm doing those activities? Am I being world class? Am I being full of energy and passion and positivity? Am I being happy and smiley? Or am I being a bit worn out because of the long working hours and the hot or the cold weather? Because what positive psychology comes from is 100% is here. Who are you being while you're going around in your 4,000 weeks? And that, I think, is a really big deal for a lot of people. I think the truth is, for most people, we're living life fast, but are we living it well? Your 4,000 weeks are going by this quickly. So this evening is time out from that to rethink how we think, and then we release you into the wild with an upgraded thinking. A little bit like Jessica, but probably that's a bit scary if you do it exactly like Jessica. So let's go back to the questions. So guys and girls, I think how this is going to work, Bibby will help me out, is I've got a translation here if I need it. What brings you happiness? 2 years ago, and I decided for 40 days and 40 nights I was going to give up moaning, like the low-level first world problems that I'm moaning about. I've thought I'm going to stop moaning for an entire 40 days and 40 nights as an experiment to see if it's possible, because as a British person I'm quite good at complaining about everything, the weather, the football team, well, Brexit as well, particularly, all right. And the news is all negative, and everything was there. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to experiment. 40 days, 40 nights, not a single moan. Is that possible? So day one, I was driving up the motorway, and it was 45 miles of roadworks. So it was the worst roadworks ever. And on day one of not grumbling, I could feel a moan coming up here. I could feel I'm getting irritated by the traffic. I'm on the motorway, I'm going nowhere. So I thought, what I've got to do, it's a tiny little detail, but it's going to make me angry. So what I need to do is I need to get rid of that moan. So with my I just said, Andy, build a bridge and get over it, man. Move on. Don't let it upset you. It's Vipassana. It's a tiny little thing. Get over it. So actually with my non-driving hand, I did a bridge and I said, build a bridge, get over it, don't let it bother you. And I felt a bit better. I did 20 more miles, I'm still in the same traffic. I could feel another moan coming up. I thought, okay, just move on, get over it. It's a tiny detail, don't let it ruin your day. I got as far as my talk and I came off at the motorway and somebody cut me up in the traffic, so a bad driver. Now normally I would chase that person, but I thought I obviously can't chase them because that's negative as well. So I thought, there's a bad driver. Get over it. Don't let it make me angry. I got to the town, I did my talk, I drove 45 miles south in the same traffic. I got home, I'd not complained about anything, and I felt fantastic. I had the energy of 2 people. So I came in at home and I said to my kids, my teenagers, I said, I've just got this thing today. I've not done any moaning. I'm just like getting over it, move on, build a bridge, move on. And the kids, because it was funny, they took it on as a project at home. So my teenagers started to do it as well. And for about 2 weeks in our house, there was a lot of this going on. Get over it, move on, don't moan. And it was quite, so if I got home and I would go home going, oh my gosh, the traffic is a nightmare, my daughter would say, Dad, get over it. Oh, okay. And we did it for 2 weeks. And then, miraculously, after 2 weeks, all of this stopped because the moaning had stopped. Because what we realized is that 95% of what we complain about, nobody's interested anyway, nobody's actually listening, and all it does is take your energy away. Now, as a family, we've never gone back to it. We've never moaned again. I've got 2 teenagers at home who don't complain. They don't grumble, which is a game changer at home. So what I thought I'd do right now, just for 1 minute, is give you 60 seconds to have your last ever moan. Your last ever low-level grumble about something. So with the person next to you, one of you's got to think about something to moan about, like, oh, we've got to go on a training program at night time at 7 till 9, or it's too hot, or it's too cold, or the car parking was terrible. You'll find something to moan about. So one of you's going to moan, the other person's going to listen very politely and say, uh-huh, yes, yes. And when you finish moaning, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, do you know what? You need to get over that. And then you're going to swap over. The other person's going to moan. You're going to listen and get over that. Now, the only technical point before you start is that the size of the bridge has to be in proportion to the size of the moan. So if I look out at the audience and you're going like that, I'll know it's a relationship thing. But if you're like that, then it'll be it's too hot or too cold or something. Guys and girls, with the best will in the world, you've got 60 seconds to have your last ever low-level moan. So enjoy and get it off your chest, and then we'll move on, and we're nearly done, okay? So 60 seconds to enjoy your last ever grumble. Okay, I'll finish the bit you're on. I think it's hard for me to get the interaction going, okay, because it's a big crowd. Finish the bit you're on. The point I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is actually quite a serious point, is that we spend a massive amount of our time wasting our energy complaining and moaning about the little trivial things in life that don't really matter. I promise you, if you just cut out 95% of your low-level kind of human grumbling, then you will feel a whole lot better, I promise you. Okay, so getting over it is a really, really big deal. And can I leave you with, because I think my time is nearly up and we can do questions and answers at the end, can I just leave you with one final very short video? And once again, it doesn't need translating. I will explain it to you. This is, I think it's quite funny, but it's also a little bit disturbing. This is where little children discover their shadow. So let's just have a quick look at this.
이거 그림자예요. 뭐가 날아갔어, 봐봐.
Não é nada, bem, não é nada. Venha, venha. Venha por aqui, ó. Aqui não tem sombra, ó. Venha. Vem, Rico. Vem por aqui que eu vou ver, vem, vem.
That's your shadow. It does whatever you do.
Okay, so his mum says it's your shadow, it does whatever you do. Now, I'm 50 years old and I'm not particularly clever. I've only just realized that wherever I go, I'm there. Okay? Maybe I'm not very clever here, but what I mean is I can be standing at a queue in the supermarket and I can think, I'm in the supermarket. And then I can be on the aeroplane today, I'm on an aeroplane. And then I'll be at home in my kitchen, I'm at home in my kitchen. And I can't escape from me. I'm trapped with me for 4,000 weeks. And you're trapped with you. There's no escape. So therefore, if you're trapped with yourself for 4,000 weeks, it makes perfect sense to be trapped with a version that you're proud of. A version that's upbeat and positive, that actually doesn't cast a shadow on the people around you. Everybody has a bad day. I have bad days sometimes. I don't have many anymore. But when you have a bad day, you are casting a shadow on the people around you. So can I leave you with my final point? And that is that your happiness is bigger than you. Your happiness has a ripple effect through society. And it reaches 3 degrees of people removed from you. Now, these are business numbers. There's not school numbers. I think school numbers are bigger. I just can't prove it yet. But here are the numbers. If you're a 2%er, so you're doing the 7-second hugs, you've got your special pants on, you're standing at the right end of the rainbow, you're feeling pretty good. Then every single person that you come into direct contact with during that day is going to be a minimum of 16% happier because they've caught your happiness. Okay, but it doesn't stop there. So let's assume that happens in the office or the staff room in the morning. So you come in really positive, so everybody else in your team is really happy as well by 16%. Then those teachers will go and teach their children. So all the children now, because the teachers are 16% happier, the children will then be 10% happier. Right? So that you haven't met those children, but that's your happiness that they're benefiting from. And there's those children go home to their parents, because the children are 10% happier, mum and dad are 6% happier. So when you said earlier, who are your customers, and you said it's the students, it's the parents, and it's the community, then ladies and gentlemen, as a teacher, well, in fact, any job that you do as a human being on this planet, you are having an emotional, contagious ripple effect. So when you're having a good day, you're impacting on your friends' friends, and your friends' friends. And I think that is worth its weight in gold. So I don't think it's quite as technical as that picture. I think it's a little bit more like that. I know you've given your evening up to come and listen to me tonight. If you go home and you put this into practice, then what happens in your household and at work tomorrow, they will also catch your happiness. So it's bigger than us, guys and girls. That's why I'm excited about it. Can I leave you with, there's quite a long quote on there. Just let Bibi explain that one. Okay, and that's what I wanted to do this evening, was take you out of your normal environment and give you something that's a little bit different, but then release you back into the wild, and it's still the same world out there. But if it's a better world in here, in your head, then you're better able to deal with the pressures of the modern world from the 2% perspective. And can I leave you maybe with a better quote than that? Let me leave you with my favorite quote of all time. And the quote is from a guy called Robert Holden. And what Robert Holden says, if there's something missing in your life, it's probably you. And I think what he means by that is that sometimes we've got so many things to do that sometimes we forget who we are. And what I would like to bring your attention back in positive psychology is your to-be list. Once again, who you're being while you're going about your 4,000 weeks is a really challenging question. So I'm hoping I've given you some things to think about this evening, but also a couple of things to do that you can do differently. And if you come back to me tomorrow night, we've got a bit more time to explore some of the more deeper theoretical side of positive psychology. But I think that will do for this evening. Guys and girls, you have been an absolute pleasure. I was nervous to start with. I've gradually relaxed because you've been so lovely. I have got a t-shirt to give away. I don't know where it's going to go. I suppose it's got to go to the girls who wanted it the most. Yeah, do you want to, with the green top on, do you want to come and collect your t-shirt at the end? Thank you for being such a superstar. You already are a superhero. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me.
La semana que viene, el día 20 de marzo, se celebra el Día Internacional de la Felicidad. Aquí, en Ibercaja Patio de la Infanta, hay programadas 2 actividades muy interesantes. Una mesa redonda para el propio día 20, sobre el bienestar y el envejecimiento saludable, y otra conferencia impartida por el doctor don Francisco Moya sobre la felicidad de la persona. Les invito, como veo que aquí hay un público cautivo que quiere ser realmente feliz, pues la semana que viene seguimos dando herramientas con otros profesionales, además de la masterclass que impartirá aquí Andy Cope mañana. Muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes y buenas noches. Gracias.